welcome to a special Excursion episode of
Brutal Battle.
We don't know what we're calling this when we're recording it, because in the past we've done like Pittsburgh Excursion, or Columbia Excursion, or Baltimore Excursion, or Philadelphia Excursion, or whatever. But this is kind of many towns.
Yeah,
so
3 different towns.
I think maybe we're just going to call it Maryland Excursion episode, but I don't know. But if you download this episode and you listen to it, you know what we decided on. So, yeah. But anyway, basically, we went out to some breweries because we decided after not going to any breweries during wintertime, because we were hunkered down in the house, basically, we needed to get out and visit some breweries. So we looked for breweries that had outdoor seating because that's our comfort level, because I have not yet been vaccinated at this point. Hopefully that changes. Hopefully by the time this podcast ends up coming out, whenever I decide to put it out. But Rebecca is vaccinated at the moment. I am not, so we just want to be very careful. So there's some great options for outdoor seating at breweries, though, which is extremely safe for the pandemic situation. So we looked for breweries that had good outdoor seating ahead of time, and then we went and hit those breweries up. And I will say that we went initially thinking we're just going to hit 2 breweries, and then we hit 4 breweries. Yeah. And part of the reason being we didn't stay super long at each one, and I think part of the reason for that is we didn't want to drink a lot during the day, so we shared half pours and kind of made our own sampler that way at every place. And then the other aspect of it was that because where we were, it was kind of like, well, if we're right here, this other one's not that far, so we might as well go to that one. And it kind of continued with that.
That's just snowballed. Because then we got to the next one and we thought, well, this one's not that much further from this one.
Also, at a few of the locations, we also didn't stay that long because the wind was kind of aggressive that day at times.
Yeah, we lost a couple beers.
Yeah, not the entire thing of any of the beers, but we lost a little bit of some beers because they're not serving in glass outside, which I understand because in general, I think breweries don't really feel that comfortable with people taking their glasses outside. I think they think there's a higher chance that people end up dropping them, but also just for cleanliness sake during COVID times, it's just easier to do the disposable glasses. But we're just going to go through and talk about what we did and talk about what we drank where, and for the most part, we're going in order, but we're switching it for the last 2 breweries, and we actually have a 5th additional beer. So there's some different things about this episode than what we normally do. And the final 2 beers are going to be very interesting for a reason that we'll get into when we get to them. It's going to be very fun, too. So, all right, let's get into it. Where did we go first, Rebecca?
We went to Sapwood Cellars.
So that takes us to our first beer, which is from Sapwood Cellars. And Sapwood was on our mind because the Maryland beer group that we're in on Facebook, they recently had a bracketed tournament where people were voting on the beers, or on breweries in Maryland to crown who the best is, and Sapwood Cellars ended up winning.
And we hadn't been there in a while, so we thought, let's just check them out again.
Well, and when we initially were there, it was maybe about almost 2 years ago now, and they were very new. So they've done a lot since. So the beer we're going to have of theirs right now in a 16-ounce can is Saturated Hue. Now, Saturated Hue is an extra pale ale, double dry hopped with Vic's Secret, and it is 6% alcohol. And we did not try this one.
We haven't had any of the ones we're trying, actually.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, every single one we're trying on this episode, we have not tried. So this will be a first for all these. Yeah, good point, Rebecca. That didn't dawn on me until you just said it. I was like, oh, yeah, we didn't do that. Okay, so when it comes to IPAs, Sapwood Cellar, to the best of my knowledge, has only been doing the hazy style lately, or at all. So it's a hazy extra pale ale, as it's called.
Yeah.
I believe this was on tap while we were there. We just didn't try it.
Yeah.
And this came in a mixed 4-pack, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it looks pretty orange, actually.
We'll be doing a showcase episode on Sapwood.
Yes, we will.
We got enough to do one.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that at some point. It's very orange looking.
Yeah.
But very hazy, obviously. It's got a decent head because we pour kind of agitated.
It smells good.
The nose is, for being double dry hopped, the nose is a lot more
mild.
Yeah, more mild than I was assuming it would be. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm getting pineapple. I'm getting pine.
I can see that. There is a kind of oranginess in there.
Mango.
I get the pineapple, I get the mango, I get the little bit of pine, a little bit of orange. There is a bit of a yeastiness to it, but it's not crazy.
Yeah. Another mild flavor, but yeah, it's there.
I also get a slight grassy note as well.
Okay.
The nose is very low. That's kind of very perplexing to me.
It's very orangey in the taste. It's good, though. Definitely yeasty in the taste, too.
Yeah. It's got like this kind of like sweet orange kick at the end of each sip. Like it kind of starts a little bit more neutral. It starts with that kind of yeastiness that you typically get from a hazy IPA, or in this case, pale ale. But then it like just punches real quick. You don't really see it coming, but it punches real quick with that kind of sweet orange flavor.
Yeah.
It is good.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
It is very easy, too. And I'm glad that, like I said, it's got that yeastiness, but it's not over the top. It's not crazy. A lot of hazy IPAs and pale ales these days, they go overboard with that.
There's a bitterness to it.
Mm-hmm. There is. And there's just this overall sweetness, like I was saying, with that sweet orange. But it's not too sweet. I do like it. This is a pretty easy yet medium flavor beer. I wouldn't say it's super flavorful, because it's not super flavorful, but it has like a medium flavor to it. So it's pretty easy. It's pretty nice. I'm down with it.
Yeah, I like it.
It's certainly not my favorite of what we had there. It's actually very far from my favorite of what we had there, because we had some really kick-ass beers at Sapwood. I see why they were voted number one in that Facebook group for sure. So I don't know if you want to take the helm of our experience at Sapwood.
Oh, yeah. So I think we start off with 4 half pours.
Yeah, because that's what they do. It's either full or half pours.
Yeah, which
they don't
I like.
do the sampler thing.
Which is fine.
Yeah, because most sampler sizes are 5 ounces anyway, so you're just getting an extra ounce for a half pour. So,
and we had my personal favorite, Vanilla Fort.
Oh my god, yeah, that Vanilla Fort,
which is just like a vanilla IPA.
Well, I'll read over. Oh yeah, I gotta put some water in yours to rinse. I'll read over everything we had, and we can talk about each one by one. But yeah. One of the big draws for us was that beer Vanilla Fort, which is a hazy IPA with vanilla beans added. And they don't put lactose in or anything, but they basically get like a creaminess through that vanilla aspect and whatever grains they've used with the beer. So I think they have some flaked out.
They did that with the same thing with their Citrus Splendor. Not Citrus Splendor, that's Manor Hill.
Citrus Sorbet.
Citrus Sorbet.
Which was amazing.
Which was also very good.
Yeah, unfortunately not available in cans, so we couldn't take that one home. But first of all, they had good seating outside. They had seating inside as well, and they were, as far as we could tell, going by all the protocol that they should be going by. And really nice servers. And the tap list is very interesting because they have a lot of different styles. Like I did say that when they're doing IPAs, it's mainly just hazy, but they're doing it with a lot of different combinations of hops. They're doing like things like this is the extra pale ale, or they're doing, imperial with the citrus sorbet one, or like the Vanilla Fort with vanilla added. And they also have like some Belgian beers. They have some sour beers. They have dark beers. They
had a saison.
Yeah. They're all over the place.
Yeah. So we didn't try like everything.
No.
We knew we had kind of, at that point,
pace ourselves.
We were at least going to another one, so we were going to pace ourselves.
Yeah, it was all about the pacing. So here is exactly what we had, and we can go over it. The Vanilla Fort, which we obviously said, very good beer. That is awesome. We were very lucky to get a 4-pack of that. They've made that numerous times over the years, and it sells pretty quick, so we got lucky for when we were there. Graveyard of Forgotten Gods is another one that we tried, which that'll show up on the showcase. I will say that. The Vanilla Fort will as well.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna say anything past that. So that's 2 of the beers, surprise ruin.
Yeah.
But it's worth hearing us taste them. But the Graveyard of Forgotten Gods, it says on Untappd they have it as a porter, but it was like a blend.
A porter and a stout with cardamom.
Yeah, and I think there was some other aspects to it, but it kind of tasted barley wine-ish to me.
Think so?
It was. I wasn't in love with the beer, but it was decent. Like I enjoyed it enough.
Yeah, I thought the cardamom spice made it interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Then the single citrus sorbet is what that is. So that's basically, they call it a milkshake pale ale, but it was just basically like a orange zest hazy IPA or hazy pale ale. Mm-hmm. It was tasty. Like the orange zest in it was just, yeah, that was good stuff. Threat Level Morning, which I think was my favorite beer all day.
Really?
Yes. That's a stout with coffee. Mm-hmm. And the coffee's from Vigilante Roasters, who are in Hyattsville, Maryland, who do have good coffee. And so it's like quality coffee that they used in it, and it's so good. Like the body to the beer is nice and easy. The coffee level is beautiful. It's roasted perfectly. It's just one of the more gorgeous coffee beers I've had. And I loved it. So we got a 4-pack of that, thankfully. That was awesome. Danger of Light, which was, a pale ale, hazy pale ale.
That's good.
It was decent. The New Milkshake, which this one I was very surprised about because I don't remember everything that was in it.
It has
but
banana.
It had banana. And
macadamia nut milk.
Oh, macadamia nut milk. That's right. You're right about that. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this, but I think you wanted to give it a shot, and I was like, okay, we'll try it. Because I don't like banana and things typically, especially not beer. But the way the banana was incorporated, it was just like a hint of banana flavor. It
wasn't too much.
And it actually folded in really well with the other flavors. I was very impressed with that. That was quite tasty when I expected it not to be tasty. So that was our experience.
And that's all we had there.
Sapwood. Yeah, that's all we had at Sapwood. Really great. We're going to go back for sure. And then our next place we went to was
Hysteria.
And before we talk about our experience at Hysteria, we will go to the Hysteria beer that we have. Now, shout out to Rich Smith. We actually didn't pick this beer up when we were at Hysteria. Our friend Rich Smith, who's been on the podcast before, gave us this beer. He had stopped at Hysteria like a month or two prior and picked it up for us. This is Hysteria's The Morning After Coffee Milk Stout, and it is in a 12-ounce can, and it is 7% alcohol.
And they did have that when we were there, and they only had it in can pours, so we would have had to have like the whole can.
Yeah. Well, which, it's 12 ounces, so. And it also wouldn't have been a problem because, well, we'll talk about why in a minute after we do this beer. But, okay. There you go, ma'am.
So it's dark.
Does it look like a coffee stout? Well, I mean, it doesn't look like a coffee stout. It looks like a stout. Can't see through it. It's got a nice brown head to it. Looks nice. Smells?
It smells good. It smells milk chocolatey.
Yeah.
It smells like green coffee.
Yeah. That's a really nice green coffee smell. I like the coffee smell on this. It smells a little creamy, too.
Yeah, it does.
It's got like this nice creaminess, nice roastiness, a little chocolatey. Mm-hmm. It's like light chocolate, though, because there is a lot of coffee character in the nose, which I am all for that. I am a fan. So, yeah, going in for a taste.
Oh, it's good. No?
Okay, you talk about it, because there's something that's bothering me a little bit, but you talk about what you're getting.
I'm getting a really nice coffee flavor, a nice coffee aftertaste in my mouth. Carlin's making a face. I think it's good.
I think it's really sweet.
It is sweet.
It is like grossly sweet to me. I like the flavor of coffee in it. The coffee up front is nice, and it is that green coffee like it is in the smell. So like the coffee smell is great. The coffee taste is great. But it ends with this sickly sweetness.
It is sweet.
It's like sugar water, really.
It's like a lot of sugar in your coffee.
Did this finish fermenting? I wonder, because it's really sweet. This beer is really sweet. This is brewed with Orinoco coffee. I'm not familiar with Orinoco, but Coffee and Tea, it's like a company. So, I'm not a fan.
I like it.
It's way too sweet for me. Okay, I mean, I'm glad you like it. Like I said, the incorporation of the coffee, good, but the base beer, I don't like it. It's way too sweet. Way too sweet.
I mean, I'm glad it's only in a 12-ounce can. I don't think I could drink a lot of it.
You can drink all of it.
I don't know if I want to drink all of it.
It's way too sweet. I'm not down with that. So our experience at Hysteria was actually not good. Not from like a service standpoint, just from the beer standpoint. They had outside seating. They did a really good job with that. Our server was really nice. I'm sorry, we actually didn't remember to like get servers' names while we were out. I think we were just so wrapped up in the fact that we were excited to just be out of the house.
We're out of the house doing something. Mm-hmm. We only got 3 taster size.
Yeah, we just started there, and we were like, if we feel like it, we'll move on. I only drank a few sips of each of the beers, and I'm like, I'm not drinking anymore. The beers were not good. I feel bad saying that, but they weren't good.
Yeah,
and we had
a Lucky Charms IPA.
Yeah, that was it. It tasted like because it was supposed to be an IPA that they did with the marshmallows from the Lucky Charms, but all it tasted like was the non-marshmallow portion of the Lucky Charms. Yeah, so it tasted very like cereal, and that's all I tasted in it. It wasn't good.
See, I didn't. That's the only one I drank. I mean, the only one I finished.
Yeah,
was that one. I didn't think it was too bad. It wasn't like the best, but it wasn't terrible.
Well, and here's the thing. I didn't have high expectations for that. I was totally willing to just write that beer off as whatever because it was near, St. Patrick's Day, so it's just like a kitsch thing. So, a lot of breweries feel like they just kind of have to do those types of things around St. Patrick's Day. So I wasn't really counting that one against them so much. But then they had this one, this Be Kind, Please Rewind, which was, and I don't understand this, they said it's a American pseudo Pilsner. So, first of all, what's a pseudo Pilsner? My guess is they used Kvike yeast, so they didn't actually, ferment it like a regular Pilsner, and they fermented it at a higher level, but it didn't taste good. It was very muddy. It kind of tasted like dirt.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Yeah, it was not good. But the worst beer was this next one.
Oh, the IPA with the Lucky Charms marshmallows was called Lucky You Want, just so people know. And then the other one, which is the reason we went there, because we were like, that could be really good.
And I had it in cans, so I was really excited about this beer.
And this one's called All About the Bunt. Let me see if it says on the... Yeah, is an Imperial Chocolate Raspberry White Stout, which sounds really good, but... It was
terrible.
Yeah.
And the raspberry was like an artificial flavor.
It overpowered everything.
Yeah, it was just... that's all it tasted like, was just artificial raspberry.
Yep. It was just 100% artificial raspberry flavor, and it was bad. So, we have been to Hysteria... I don't know, a year and a half. No, probably closer to 2 years ago. So I don't know what happened there. But the beers were good when we were there. All 3 of the beers we had this time were bad. And I don't think that this Morning After is very good either. So I don't know if they have a different brewer or what's going on there, but I would not go back to Hysteria.
Yeah.
Unless something changes. That's very unfortunate because I had fond memories of Hysteria and this was just a bad beer experience. But while we were there, like I said, our server was very nice. They were, abiding by all COVID protocols, so that was good. And right next door to them is this place called Bullhead Pit Beef. And we got lunch from there, and their food was really good. Their fries were they're kind of like run-of-the-mill type fries, and you can tell that they don't really change their fry oil very often because it's got that type of flavor to the fries. But the main stuff you're there to get was very tasty. I got a brisket burrito that just had a ton of brisket in it, and then you could choose what sauce you put in there. So I had their, I think, Carolina version barbecue sauce. and also their tiger sauce, which is like a horseradish mayo type mix. And that burrito was phenomenal. It was very excellent. And then you had...
I just had a pit beef sandwich.
And you said it was really good
really
as well.
Good. Yeah.
So yeah. So I would go to that Bullhead pit beef. It was a really tasty place. Pretty sad about Hysteria though. Yeah. So we talked about then going to Black Flag, which is literally like minutes down the road from Hysteria. But we decided not to because they don't have outside seating. So I kind of think that it's not necessarily a choice thing for them because where they're located, they're kind of with other businesses and it's not a lot of parking.
Yeah.
So I don't think they can really do outside seating is my guess. So if there were people on social media who were like, why didn't you go to Black Flag? You were right there. And I mean, we would have if we could have done outside seating, but we couldn't. So, but you know, after I get my vaccine, both my vaccine doses, maybe we'll go sit at Black Flag and try them out again.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while since we've been there too. So then we went to Crooked Crab, but we're going to talk about them after the place we went last, which is...
Pherm Brewing Company.
Spelled...
Pherm.
And Pherm is very new. Like, they're only months old when we're recording this.
Yeah.
They're not even a year old. They're a very new brewery. So we were like, hey, they're super new. Seen some good things about them online, so let's go check them out. So
this is their It's Ice, and it is a blackberry, raspberry, blackcurrant sour ale, and it's 5.5%.
And 16-ounce can, and we were not able to taste this while we were there because it wasn't on tap, but they had it in cans. So I saw it in cans. I'm like, oh, that sounds really good. Let's take that with us. Also, I have to do shout out that they have a must keep cold on the can, which is good with these fruited sours because we had an episode recently talking about cans that explode because of re-fermentation. So good job, Pherm. Okay, gonna get in this. I'm excited. I do like a nice fruited sour from time to time.
And then we bought this in a 4-pack, right?
Yes, yeah. Sorry, I had a hesitation because there were some beers at some of the breweries, and I couldn't remember what was what that were in 2-packs.
Yeah, and the beers that you could buy at Pherm, you could buy singles too.
Yeah, that was cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's kind of cool if you just want one.
This is very pretty.
It's really pretty. It's like a deep, pink, deep red.
It's got a really pretty pink head to it. The pink head looks very nice. Smell? Berries. Yeah,
berries. I don't know if I could pick out anything particular.
Honestly, it doesn't smell that like tart or sour.
No.
I mainly just smell the fruit.
Yeah.
But it's not like the fruit isn't like insane on the nose. It's still like a
mild.
Yeah. Which honestly, that makes me feel hopeful for the flavor because I don't want it to be like too sweet or anything. Yeah, it smells solid.
It's good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like a low-level tartness. Very much just driven by those berries.
Lots of berries, a little tartness, and then it finishes with that Naked Cheerio finish.
But not too much for someone like me, who doesn't really like that flavor that much. There is a little tart kick that kind of hits in the middle of each sip. It's kind of like berries, tart kick, berries to finish. It's a good progression of flavor.
Yeah, it's good.
This is really easy, too.
It's very easy.
Like, it's flavorful. It's not, like, crazy flavorful, but it's flavorful, and it's very easy. Like, you could just blow through this if you wanted to. It's a good beer. I like this. Yeah, I'm down with that. Yeah. Ooh, that last sip. Now, feel me on this. It's like it almost has a little bit of a Jolly Rancher note to it.
Okay, I don't see that. But...
That was good, though. I like that. So what did we have at Pherm?
So they did sampler sizes. Mm-hmm. And for all the places I went in, and Carlin stayed outside since I'm vaccinated. So I went in, got the beers, went back outside. So I just got 4 because that's kind of how all I could carry.
Yeah, it's so we did a Splintered Sunlight, which is their Pilsner. Now, this one, when we initially took a sip of it, I was like, that's okay. It's an okay Pils. But then, as we kept drinking it, I remember just being like, the more I drink this, the more I just keep going back to it. Mm-hmm. Because it was like over time, it just kept like developing a little bit more. So it was a pretty good Pils, actually. Initially, I was like, but then it turned into, oh, you know what? This is a pretty good Pils. Then we had the Scooped, and that was a milkshake IPA, and that was with peach, apricot, and mango.
That wasn't as good as I wanted it to be.
Right. That one was, it was okay.
I think it was the weakest offering.
Yeah, it was okay. I think we picked up a good amount of the apricot and some hoppiness, and that was about it. That wasn't the best. Now,
the two sour ones we had were both good, though.
Yes, so that makes sense why this is a good beer, because I think they're really getting it right on their sours. We had their Secret of the Goza, which I think is supposed to be a play on Secret of the Ooze, based off I think what their label kind of looks like. It looks like a Ninja Turtle type thing. But it is a guava sour. And that was good. Very nice guava flavor to it. Rebecca got that Naked Cheerio in there.
Yeah, it was good.
And then my favorite that we had
this is my favorite, too.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was your favorite.
I didn't know it was your favorite.
The Disco Cherry Lime, which was a Goza with cherry and lime. That was pretty nice.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy that one.
Flavors you don't see a lot in beers together.
True. Yes. Yeah, the cherry lime, that was a good one. I'm a fan. I enjoyed that. So here's the thing. They're under a year old. If Pherm is starting this way, that gives me some pretty big hopes for where they'll go from here. Mm-hmm.
I think this one's my favorite one, though, from them.
I quite like this, but I think I still like that Disco Cherry Lime more.
Yeah.
Because like
It's
you said,
different.
how often are you really getting that?
The flavors are definitely different.
Yeah, Pherm. Digging the Pherm. I'm down with it. They have this weird like wooden bridge.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
To get to their place. Like if you go one direction, you can go between like this one like shopping plaza area and where they're located, which is another one. And it's a one-car wooden bridge that doesn't feel the safest when you're driving on it.
At first,
I'm sure it's fine.
At first, Carlin's like, "Am I allowed to drive on this?" I'm like, "I think so."
Well, I didn't know. It just looked like it was weird. It was just really weird. But they had a decent enough amount of outside seating, and yeah, it was good. So then we said we went to Crooked Crab before Pherm. So now we're going to get to Crooked Crab. Now, the reason we're getting to Crooked Crab last is because we have two beers to represent Crooked Crab. One of them was brewed at Crooked Crab. The other one was not. But they're both collaboration beers. Now, they're collaboration beers with Fourscore Brewing, who we did a showcase for Fourscore, right? I think so.
I don't know.
Did we? Oh my gosh, I'm losing it. I think we did a Fourscore showcase. We at least talked about going to Fourscore on the podcast and have had Fourscore beers, and they do good stuff. So they did a collaboration with Fourscore, and it's like a Miami Vice type. Because one of the beers is called Crockett, one of them is called Tubbs. And the cool thing is you're supposed to blend them then to create what they call the Miami Vice. So it's a 50-50 blend. So we're going to taste through each of the beers, and then I already have 2 ounces of each pre-blended that we'll then pour into our glasses to try. So this should be fun. So Fourscore's getting some press in this, even though we didn't go there.
No,
but that's because they collabed with Crooked Crab. So, and we did not have these beers while we were there, so we're pretty excited to try them.
Okay, so the first one is called Tubbs, and it is...
This is the one that Crooked Crab brewed.
Yes, this is the one Crooked Crab brewed, and it's a strawberry daiquiri sour.
Mm-hmm. Is there ABV?
8%.
8%. I wasn't expecting that for a sour. Okay. See how that is.
It's an imperial sour.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. All right. Pouring it. It looks...
It's like a hazy peach color.
It looks lighter than I was potentially expecting it. Yeah, it is kind of like a mix between like a light orange and a light red or light pink.
Yeah.
It's an interesting color. It's kind of pretty. It's like peachish.
It's so much strawberry.
Whoa. Oh my goodness.
So much strawberry.
Wow. That is... Yeah, that's a lot. Is it actual strawberries in there?
It says strawberry puree.
Oh, okay. There you go. Good. They didn't do the Hysteria and put in just like fake ass strawberry, thank goodness. Man, that is a beautiful, beautiful strawberry nose. If you like the smell of strawberry, you will love the smell of this beer. And I mean, strawberry daiquiri? Sure. I mean, all I smell is strawberry, though. Mm-hmm. So, we could go in.
Tastes good. It's like,
whoa,
not that sour at all.
There is a very present sweetness that hits me up front, but then it backs off, thankfully. Because when I first taste that, I'm like, oh, this is pretty sweet. If it sustained, it would have been a problem, but it like backs down after the initial kick of it.
It's like fruit sweetness. It's not over the top sweetness. It's just like a nice, yummy, juicy strawberry.
Oh, this beer is good. Mm-hmm. This is very good.
It's just the right amount of sweetness and right amount of tart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you get the tartness after the sweetness. It's like that punch of strawberry and sweet up front, and then it transitions to that tartness, and then it finishes with
naked Cheerio.
That nice naked Cheerio.
Now, if you're looking for something that's really sour, you're going to be disappointed because it's not overly sour. It's just like a little bit of tartness. I like it, though.
I really like that beer. That beer is really nice. Oh, and since we talked about that bracket challenge, we should note that Crooked Crab was number 2 in the bracket challenge, and we had never been to Crooked Crab. So we were like, oh man, maybe we should hit it up. And they weren't that far from Sapwood, so we were like,
yeah. And they had only had 4 tables outside, but we were lucky to get one. There was one open when we got there.
Yes, we got lucky. I think we dealt with the most wind when we were there too. It was very windy there. And then
they had the door propped open, which is nice, so you didn't have to touch the door handle. But then, so I was coming out with our beer sampler and this wooden tray, and I pushed open the door, and then it flew back and hit me so hard, the beer spilled all over me.
Yeah.
So we lost some beer.
We did lose some beer.
But that's okay. Not a ton.
So here's what we had when we were there. We had their Crooked Cream Ale, which
was good.
It had a lot of a corn flavor to it. It was a little overly corn for me, but it was still okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't huge on it, but it was okay. We had their Pink Boots Pilsner. Once again, it was an okay Pilsner. Their Stay Crooked Pale Ale. It was a decent pale ale. Yeah. I did enjoy that pale ale. Totes Ma Oats.
That was the best one.
Which is an oatmeal stout. That oatmeal stout was awesome.
Yeah, it was
like
very
that.
good.
When I think like oatmeal stout, that is how I want my oatmeal stout to taste.
Yeah,
that was
very good.
Awesome. They didn't have it in cans though, did they?
I think they did.
Oh, did they? Oh crap! We should just go back and get some. Why didn't we get some?
I don't know.
All right, we need to go back. I think we might be going back anyway to get some more of this Crockett and Tubbs after tasting in that Tubbs. Hopefully the Crockett's just as good or close because that Tubbs is really good. But yeah, that Totes Ma Oats, awesome oatmeal stout. I remember the first sip I took of that, I was like, that is killer. Like, it's got a nice creaminess to it. It's got really nice roasty notes, the right amount of chocolate to it. It was just a killer oatmeal stout. Then they had their Breakfast Big Shake, which I forget what was in that. It was like
some milkshake IPA.
Milkshake IPA. It was decent.
Yeah.
I remember
I think all the beers there were solid.
Right.
Yeah. Nothing, but the Toast My Oats was like really, really good.
Yeah, and this Tubbs was really, really good. So yeah. That's what we had. Yeah.
Okay, so this last beer is again the collaboration between Foursquare and Crooked Crab. This one's called Crockett. It is a sour double IPA. It is a pina colada sour double IPA. Brewed with an insane amount of pineapple, coconut, and vanilla, dry hopped with Sabro, Cryo, and Kahatu? Kahatu?
Yeah, Kahatu. I would say 8.6%.
8.6?
8.6.
Wow.
So they're.
It looks like straight up pineapple juice.
Yeah, it does. Well, let's see if it smells like straight up pineapple juice. It could if they said there's a lot of pineapple in it.
Yes, it does.
Oh my gosh. It's like the golden pineapple, you know, like Like the kind of like sweet pineapple that you end up getting in can from Dole.
I'm getting
It looks really yellow.
I'm getting the coconut, and I'm getting the vanilla on the smell.
It looks really yellow. There's not much of any head to it. It's not retaining head, which doesn't really bother me. You can see chunks of stuff floating in it, which I assume is probably the coconut. Yeah, I do. I get the vanilla, I get the coconut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it smells like a pina colada straight up. If it tastes the way it smells, this could be really awesome as well. It smells really great. Definitely smells like a pina colada. I'm very impressed with how creamy it smells and how much coconut pops in the nose.
Holy cow, it tastes just like a pina colada.
Whoa. My goodness. Yeah. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
It's equally as sweet.
Whoa.
It's to get all that like fruity sweetness and then a little bit of tartness. It's good. I can't believe this is 8%.
I think the coconut milk is tasting...
There's not coconut milk.
All right. Sorry. I got ahead of myself. I was going to say, I think the coconut is tasting like coconut milk. Because it seems pretty concentrated. You know what I mean? Like, I smell tons of pineapple in the nose, but I taste more coconut than I taste pineapple, which is interesting.
Yeah, these are both good.
It's very creamy. I'm also getting that, the vanilla in there as well, which I think the vanilla is helping with that creaminess. They are both very good. Wow. Okay. I think preference-wise, I think I like the tubs a little bit more, though.
I think so, too.
But they're both very nice. So that leads us to the experiment that was always intended when they collaborated on these beers, which is the 50-50 blend of the Crockett and Tubbs to make the Miami Vice. Now, I've already pre-mixed this, but I'm going to give it a quick swirl just to make sure it didn't. I'm sure he didn't, but I don't want it to like have kind of separated. Okay, here we go. So Rebecca's gonna get half. And Carlin's going to get half. I think maybe I got a little more than you. So
you got like double me.
Well, whatever. We can still mix more of it. Right? Okay, so it looks like the tubs, basically. But just a little bit lighter, maybe. Yeah. It's got really no head to it.
And it smells so good. I mean, you get the pineapple,
everything.
You get the coconut, you get the vanilla, you get the strawberry.
Mm-hmm. I mean, really what it is it smells a lot like the Crockett, that pina colada, but on a lower level because the strawberries then introduced in there. And so you do smell all the aspects of both the beers. So aromatically, it smells like both the beers. It smells very cool and very nice. Now, flavor-wise... It's not as good as they are separately, I will say.
Yeah, I think they're better separately as well.
It does taste good, though. I will say that.
It is very good.
So, honestly, I think if we would have tasted it like this first and then tasted them separately, I think we would have been happier because I've been like, oh, this is really good, and then tasted them separately and be like, oh, but they're also really good separate. Yeah, they're better separately, but they are good
it's
together.
Good mix.
They really are, and it tastes exactly like the two beers mix, basically.
So someone on social media said that these are great brunch beers, and I would agree.
Yeah, they do have this kind of like brunch,
like mimosa-y
aspect. These are impressive.
Yeah, they're really good.
They're good.
Do I have to rate these?
Yeah, we have to rank them. This is gonna be hard. Well, I know what my last one is.
Yeah, I know my last one.
Very easy.
My last one's gonna be the same.
I'm sure everyone listening knows what the last one's gonna be. Hint, it was also our least favorite experience of the breweries we went to, beer-wise. Hysteria, if you want to redeem yourselves, contact us.
Okay, I got my lineup.
I need to retaste the saturated hue, because I need to figure out where that's going. But I do have a feeling I know. I have a feeling that my lineup's going to be your lineup.
Oh, you think?
Mm-hmm.
I could flip-flop these two, too.
I wouldn't. I need a little bit more of this, the It's Ice. I gotta figure out where that one's going. Yep, go ahead. It's the same as yours.
Okay, same lineup. Okay, so...
Wait, this doesn't happen often.
It doesn't.
This is a momentous... We're usually like one switched or something. So, momentous occasion. Rebecca will now speak for both of us.
Okay, so number 5 is the Hysteria the Morning After, which is the coffee milk stout. Good coffee flavor, too sweet.
Way too sweet.
Number 4 is the Saturated Hue by Sapwood Cellars.
Decent, very light, hazy pale ale.
Number 3 is It's Ice by Pherm Brewing, which is the blackberry, raspberry, blackcurrant sour ale.
Nice sour beer that's actually not that sour. It's just a little tart.
Number 2 is Crockett, which is the pina colada sour double IPA.
From Fourscore, but in collaboration with Crooked Crab.
And number 1 is Tubbs, which is an Imperial Strawberry Daiquiri Sour.
Yep. I am in full agreement. That is... going into this, I'm not sure I would have expected that I would have had the Tubbs as number 1. I think I would have thought the Crockett would be my number 1 over it.
I mean, they're both... They're all pretty good except the Hysteria.
Yeah, the Hysteria is not good.
It's okay.
What happened?
Yeah.
I don't think it's okay. It's way too sweet, man. It's way too sweet. So where would you put the blend of the Crockett and Tubbs? I feel like I would put it right below the Crockett. Between the Crockett and the It's Ice.
Oh, I wouldn't. I would put it actually...
Below the It's Ice?
Yeah.
No, I would put it before the It's Ice. I'd put it right after the Crockett, but that's just me.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a really good time. And hopefully we're going to be doing some more Excursion episodes like this. And I think we probably need to go back to 3 of these breweries. And also Fourscore. I have been talking about wanting to go back to Fourscore. So we'll do that again. And I'm going to have to check. If we haven't done a showcase for Fourscore, we should do a showcase for Fourscore. And actually, we should probably do a showcase for all these breweries. Except Hysteria, sorry. And like we said, we are going to do one for Sapwood, though. That's already in the works.
We already have the beers.
Yeah, we secured those beers. That is happening. But we should do Pherm. I think I want to give Pherm a little time, though. Because their stuff is good now, but I have a feeling that in about a year or so, their stuff's going to be even better.
They only had 3 different options for beers and cans. And then I guess crowlers.
Yeah, that too. We could do Crooked Crab now, though. I mean, we would have to go there and get more beers, but... Yeah. And if we do, we need to not make the same mistake as last time and skip on the Totema Oats.
Yeah.
Because that is... Yeah, what an oatmeal stout, man. Okay, awesome. So this was a lot of fun. People, email us, let us know. Are there any particular breweries you want us to do showcases on? You think we should try to visit at some point? Obviously, it would have to be kind of in the area we are. So, like, very close to Maryland, Pennsylvania. Stuff that's kind of like around in the areas of like Gettysburg, Hershey, Philadelphia, and then like Baltimore-ish area, Maryland. So those areas. So if there are breweries, let us know. BrutalBattlePodcast@gmail.com. Instagram
at Brutal Battle Podcast.
If you want to get back episodes going all the way back to number 1 when the podcast was not good, especially in comparison to now, you can go to archive.org and search Brutal Battle, or you can simply go to brutalbattle.com, which is the website for the podcast. It's not a very fancy website. I'm mainly just using it to house the episodes. I don't put a lot of time into it. It just has the pictures and the episodes and the write-ups, basically. So keeping it simple. It's all about the pod. But do us a quick favor and rate and review us on whatever podcatcher you use. iTunes helps the most, so we would appreciate that. And also just, word of mouth, please. Just let people know about the podcast. And that's about it. Do you have anything to say?
That's it.
All right. So until next time.
Keep it brutal.